Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, June 27th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video. Every Wednesday, bring you about half a dozen or so names that are on my watch list that you guys may find interesting. And we have half of the names coming from my watch list, another several coming from our partners over at Investors Business Daily. So we're going to jump into the charts here in 1 second. Just a reminder though, for the market analysis, we did a recap video yesterday that pretty much still stands, gives you our viewpoint on the market as it stands right here. And generally speaking, or the takeaway from yesterday's video is that I'm trying to do less here, holding more cash, being patient. So as a reminder, when we look at some setups today, none of these are an immediate endorsement or recommending that you go out and purchase this right now. These are simply names that I could be looking at to form a setup over the next several days or weeks. So do keep that in mind. Do your own homework when you're looking at some of these names. So first up, I want to talk about some short ideas. And if you are familiar with my style of trading, I do not short individual stocks. I short the indices or individual sector ETFs outright using the inverse ETFs. So for example, now as we have some short setups in play here, I am interested and I am looking at the S&P 500, the IWM, and the Qs outright as potential short setups. And as a matter of fact, it's the Russell 2000 and the NASDAQ 100 that I am most interested in for potential short trade. So I would use ticker symbol TZA or SQQ to get that short exposure. So here's what I'm looking at. Let's look at the Qs, for example, for the short trade here. We had a high volume breakdown on the 25th, this Monday. So we fell about a little over 2% here on the Qs, double the average volume. We broke below multi-week support here, and we broke below these moving averages. So we really had kind of a short-term, just technical breakdown of these levels. And yesterday we had this quiet inside day. Again, we talked about that in yesterday's market recap video. And now today we did attempt in the morning to rally above yesterday's highs, above this inside day's highs, and start to get back into Monday's opening price. But we failed there. We rejected, and now we are proceeding to reverse sync lower, and we are now trading at the time of recording anyway at the lows of the day, minus 0.88%. So we have this outside reversal day. Yesterday was the inside day. We've broken below yesterday's lows, and we are heading down towards Monday's lows. So for me, this is an interesting sort of tactical momentum trade that I'd be looking at here on the short side, but I'd be waiting. I have no position at this time. We did have a short trade in the Qs. We got short back here on the 21st, and we covered into Monday. Now I'd look to potentially reestablish this short position today, but I like to wait for those closing prices, the end of the day. I want to see if this weakness can persist. I want to see how we close on the session, see where volume comes in. So for now, I am just waiting to see how this bar closes today, but a close below yesterday's lows and weak down here on some heavier negative breath, then that is a interesting technical short setup for me as we start to lose now 170, which if we zoom out here has been was the top of this range back in May, and was where we kind of topped out back earlier in this year in January and then in February. So there's a confluence right here around this 170 level, a weak close, very negative breath below yesterday's lows. And I think, we could get more of a drop here into the end of the week, into the end of the quarter, into the end of the month. The the Russell 2000 is really in a similar situation. This one is holding up best, but still take a look at this sell volume that came in over the past several days. And then especially on Monday, where we broke below this support here, and we have proceeded to continue to just chop around. We had a rebound yesterday, but again we've got this pierce of yesterday's lows, and we can see price now trading at its lows. So the same kind of concept here. I would be looking at this via TZA for a potential short trade here for kind of a tactical momentum play. So those are the two primary ones. I'm actually more interested in the Russell 2000 and the NASDAQ over, say, the S&P 500. You could look at S&P 500. It's in a similar situation. This 270 level is support. I'd like to see it close below there. The proxy here is pretty decent for the short exposure, but with energy ripping, there's a little more. You get the defensive areas of the market that could hold this up. If we're going to see more panic, if we're going to see more selling pressure really hit this market, I think the Russell and the NASDAQ are the places to be on the short side. But for now, no trade. Again, I'd rather be patient and defensive here rather than aggressive. But if I am going to put on some short exposure, I'm going to be looking at either the Russell or the NASDAQ later today. So no position at this time. So those are sort of the short ideas here that I'm looking at. A couple of individual stocks. So the first name that I'm looking at here is LTRPA. Again, this is one that doesn't look really that prime right now. It's more of a name that is on my watch list. But if we kind of draw this nice kind of sideways consolidation as it holds up here, shows some relative strength, this is interesting to me. Maybe it needs another week or so to fill out this sideways range before resolving out of it, and that's fine. I'm just going to continue to watch it, but it had a rebound yesterday, trying to get some follow through today in a fairly crummy market, and it is holding up. So LTRPA, it's had a strong run since May here. Nice breakout, good buy volume coming in here, and now we're going to watch to see how this consolidates. So that one is on my watch list heading forward. TSCO, not really. I mean, this is one I was going to talk about, but it's really not that interesting. This kind of just goes to show you there are some names that are working, but some of these have been extended. There's no good base here, so there's no real tight consolidation that this looks very actionable to me in the immediate term. So, a good performance on the day, good relative strength on the day, breaking to new highs, but doesn't really seem like a low risk entry point at this time for TSCO. So, that one I'm probably just going to leave off this video altogether, and that is it. So that's all I have from my list. I'm really just looking at LTRPA and then those short ideas. Couple of names that I've been talking about. I've posted these on the stream. This comes from Investors Business Daily. First is Twitter. This one is a highly watched name, but this is on their IBD 50 list now. This has had a strong run for this entire year, but specifically over the past 2 months or so, it's went from sub 30 all the way up to nearly 50 just a week or so ago, and now it's pulling off, consolidating, really kind of flagging downward in this channel, letting the moving averages catch up and digesting this nice run up. So give it some time in here. Maybe this morphs into a different sort of consolidation, but for now, kind of flagging out here. I'm paying attention to it. It's clearly not ready. It's down almost 2% today, but again, it's a name that I'm paying attention to over the next week or so. If this market stabilizes, Twitter would be an interesting name to pay attention to. Finally, again, a name I've been talking about a lot here is SUPN. Again, an IBD 50 name. Look at the relative strength here. Good volume pattern. It's just moving sideways. It's had a nice run. It resolved this bigger consolidation just a couple of months ago, and now it's carving out a range between about $53 and $59. You can see it did make an attempt today. It is green on the day, so it is outperforming. Nice relative strength, but clearly not getting that breakout just yet, but something I am paying attention to, and something that, again, if the market stabilizes, this could be a good one to break out and lead the charge higher. So that is it. That is the ideas here on this week's setup video. A couple of short ideas. Pay attention to those closes, and again, you don't have to trade every day. If you want to just keep a high cash balance, you want to sit on your hands and wait for this uncertainty to resolve itself, I think that's totally reasonable. That is generally the mindset that I have at this point in time. So that is it. Thanks so much for watching. Do subscribe to our video, and also check out the links here in the description of this YouTube video if you do want access to those IBD lists for trade ideas and just general idea generation. That's it for me. Thanks so much, and talk to you next time.